I am titling this series Lessons for Hannah. Hannah is the inspiration. I will start with lesson 1. This is learning American Sign Language so that you are conversational with deaf people. I will start in lesson 1 with some of the most basic words and conversational phrases that you will need. The very first thing that you might want to say to anyone of any language is hello. Hello. If you are right-handed, you use your right hand, hello. If you're left-handed as your dominant hand, you would use your left hand, hello. And that is just a salute from the forehead. It's very simple. Goodbye is universal. Goodbye, goodbye. It's the same as for hearing people. The sign for yes and no. Yes, and again, I'm using my right hand because I am right-handed. Yes, and this represents a nodding head. So the palm faces the person you're talking to, and palm orientation is very important. Yes, yes. And this can be, yep, yes. Your facial expression is so important. It gives the sign the inflection, just like a voice, yes, 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 yes. Your expression is really important, so I would encourage you to practice in the mirror. Yes, yes, yes. You could do two-handed for extreme emphasis. No is fingers pointer and tall man, or fingers 2 and 3 with your thumb. So it looks like this. No, it doesn't have that kind of, it seems logical that it would do no, yes, and no, but it doesn't. It's up and down. No. When you finger spell no, I think that this just became an abbreviation of spelling no, no. But that's just my own theory. I don't have anything to prove that with. No, no. A head shake no would be good for emphasis. Facial expression needs to match. And lip reading is very important, which is why you see sign language interpreters use their mouth also to make the shape of the words. Because deaf people do lip read in addition to looking at the face, the body language, and the sign. So it's not just the sign, it's several things. So, hello, this is a test, can you remember? Right, it's a salute, goodbye. Yes, no. Next we will learn please and thank you. Please, with my right hand on this part of my chest, please. This is also the sign in context for enjoyment or pleasure, but for right now, we're using it as please. So we would say please, and we would show it on our lips. Thank you. It's important as a general rule not to cover your mouth or your lips because, like I said, deaf people do read your lips. Thank you. So you bring your fingers up almost to your lips, not covering. And you bring your hand down. The sign good is very similar to thank you, and I'll talk about that later, but I'll just show you that to differentiate, it starts out the same, you land in your other palm. So thank you, do you remember? Thank you. Please. Thank you. You're welcome. Deaf people vary how they sign this, so don't be alarmed if it varies a little bit person to person. Part of it is where the person grew up, and then their local signs might have been you're welcome, which is what I see most often in Minnesota. That doesn't mean it's the most often sign that is used, but I see it in the area where I am from. You start at the temple and you do a C or a backwards C. So for me, it's a backwards C. For you, it would look like a C, depending on your orientation. So as the signer, it's a backwards C. You might also see with a W, you're welcome. Either one is correct. It depends on whatever the deaf person prefers. When you do use a letter like this in a sign, it is called an initialized sign because it has the letter. So you're welcome, you're welcome. So let's review. Hello, goodbye, So if you practice right now, this would be a good time. Goodbye, goodbye. Yes. No. Please. Thank you. You're welcome. And you don't have to sign you. You just say welcome. The you is implied because I'm looking directly at you or the subject. Next, I want to go on to how are you, which is something as a basic conversational thing that people will say. How are you? Put the backs of your hand together like this, knuckles to knuckles, and bring it up. First fingertips toward your body. How? That is the sign for how. We don't sign are, the helping verb. How are you? And you point at the person to whom you are speaking. So we're really only signing how you, but it means how are you? How are you? If I have a few people there, if I have 2 or 3 people, I would say how are you? And that would indicate that line of people or that group of people. How are you? How are you? Common responses to how are you? Fine. It's a number 5 hand shape. Start at just a little above the sternum. Fine. You can say fine, like fine, 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 or you can say fine. With more emphasis, it means I'm really fine. I am great. Fine. I'm fine. The signs for good and bad. Before I talked about thank you, and then this becomes good. Good. If I want to say bad, you start the same, but you turn your hand around and throw it away a little bit. Starts the same, ends differently. How are you? Fine. How are you? Good. Next we will have some more responses to how are you. How are you if someone is tired? Tired. So this is a right angle hand shape. You take your hands, bend them in flat, like how we started how, only you bring the fingertips to the chest and let the hand fall. And you can say I'm tired, but again you don't have to because it's implied. Someone just said how are you, you're responding, so the you is implied in the communication. Tired. So is like this. It's again a number 5 hand shape, and you just go back and forth like it's a scale. I'm okay, not great, not too bad. So. How are you? So. How are you? How are you? Okay. The letters O. And in lesson 2, I will be showing the alphabet. Okay. The letter K, you take the thumb tip, put it on the middle part of your middle finger. So if you start with a V and take your thumb and put it on the middle part of your middle finger, that's a K. Okay. How are you? Okay. If you wanted to say great or wonderful, it looks like this. Wonderful or great. So here's a test. I want you to tell me if I'm saying wonderful or great. You're going to have to look at my lips. How are you? And you can see the difference between how are you. So the first time I said wonderful, the second time I said great. So I am going to simulate a conversation with you, and you will respond. So I will sign, and then you will have a moment to respond to me. So for review, what I said was, first I was waving a little bit more vigorously, and in deaf culture, you get a deaf person's attention by waving because they are very visually attuned to their surroundings, and if something's moving quickly like that, it is likely to catch their eye. So I did that first, and then I said, hello, how are you? And then I said, how am I, which we hadn't talked about. How am I? I'm good. So now I'm saying goodbye because this part of the lesson is done, and you may continue learning in lesson 2. Good luck.